Hi, everybody. Matt Bernier, Mike Beer, taking a look at the Thursday DRF Formulator race of the day. It's race number 6 from Penn National. Under the light schedule post time, 8:16 Eastern. It is an optional claimer, $25,000, non-winners of 2 other than. You can take a look at this field. We've got a field of 8. If you want to follow along with us with the free Formulator past performances, head on over to the race of the day page. Mike, right in post position order, number 1 is Evening Price. This is a horse that, in my opinion, looks a little bit slow on paper, both from a buyer standpoint and a time form standpoint.
Yeah, I guess just going to have to really improve. It seems like second time off the claim here. As she stretches out as well, I like that she got an inside post position for this race, but the stretch out feels like it could be a problem. She's won going long before, but it's way in the past. Her recent form's not great.
The number 2 is Wildcat Cartridge, one of a couple in here for Bernard Houghton. This is a horse that the two most recent races against Cheaper, both been blowout victories. I know the 1-2 back was only by a neck, but at the end of the day, this horse has been very impressive. My only concern is against weaker, and you look at the field sizes there. You had 4 horses in the most recent race. You had 6 in the one prior, and they were both scheduled for the turf.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're both scheduled turf races. They had switched her over to turf, earlier this spring, and it feels like they just sort of want to keep her there. The last 2 came off and they left her in. Fine. She won both of them. I mean, she crushed that field last time. I'm not taking anything away from her. I actually thought her win 2 back was pretty good. She was very game in that race. But again, it was she's beating a bunch of turf horses in there. And it feels like this is probably going to be tougher for her. I don't hate her in here. We'll see what kind of price she goes off at. If she's around that 4-1, it's probably not for me. But if she drifts, I could use her.
The 3 Elnoth is just a professional horse, 42 lifetime starts, has won 10 of them, has a little bit of tactical speed. I suppose this one is similar to the number 2 horse, where you look at the horses she's been beating recently, they're not nearly as good as these ones are, but at least Penn National, she's 4 for 7 lifetime. Should have been out of the exacta.
Yeah, and she's just one of those. Her trainer, Tim Kreiser, has 2 in here. It feels like they both sort of have similar profiles in that he claimed them both. He really improved them both, and I feel like he really improved this horse. And she's got nice tactical speed. Her recent form says, sure, she's got a shot in here. She might have to run a little bit faster, but she's not out of it.
Speaking of the tactical speed, let's take a look at the time form U.S. pace projector for the 6th race at Penn National. Doesn't look like there's a ton signed on. No. And if that is the trip that the 3 ends up getting, I think anybody that backs her's got to be happy.
Yeah, and it feels like she does have that kind of positional speed. She could get that trip.
The number 4 is Spring Away. This is another one of the Bernard Houghton runners that just looks like a little bit overmatched in this spot. Maybe if you want to say stretching back out to 2 turns, maybe that helps. But right now, I don't see a lot on paper that kind of entices me.
Hard to get that interested in her. I agree with you. She is one of the few horses in the field who, hasn't been sort of kicking around and claiming races for a long time. She's been an allowance horse right along, but she's just going to have to get faster in here.
In the Navy Now is an interesting horse. Ever since she's come back off of a long layoff, she missed almost an entire year. You look at her, she hasn't really been embarrassed in any of her races, but at the same time, I'm waiting to see. It's almost as though she's not taking that step forward that she's needed to.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I don't dislike any of her 4 races that she's come back off the long layoff. She's run well in all of them. I feel like, her race last time, probably facing a couple of better horses. She got a great trip in that race and just couldn't get to those 2 horses who were in front of her, but she raced on the entire way. Maybe this is, maybe this is more class relief than it even looks like, and it gives her a big chance in there. But I'm sort of with you. I kind of wanted her to take a jump forward in one of these races, and it hasn't happened.
I suppose, though, if you do want to look at her and give her another shot, you go to that run 2 back, Moonlight Basin, a horse we'll talk about momentarily. She beat her, or finished ahead of her anyway, and Sine Wave is a decent enough filly that we'll see in a graded stakes race this coming weekend. The number 6 is Foxy Gator. This is another horse we talk about. It to me reminds me a lot of the inside horse. Slow on buyers, slow on time form ratings, and really form-wise, there's not a lot for me to love.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything to hold on to with this horse, and she'll be a big price.
I think the most interesting horse in the race is the number 7, Minister's Adventure. This is a horse that is still owned by Tommytown Thoroughbreds. These folks are California-based. Yeah. You look at what she's done in the past, that most recent start, I don't want to hold that against her at Presque Isle. You go prior to that, her efforts at Sunland Park, they're not bad at all, and I think she's an interesting one.
Yeah, she's got plenty of races on the go back when Hollendorfer had her in Southern California. I mean, she's got several races back there that'll make her really tough in this race, and I thought she ran fine in those last 2 races at Sunland Park before she left. I thought she ran really well in both of those races. I'm with you. I don't care about the synthetic race last time. I'm just going to pretend it didn't even happen. She doesn't have to like that service. Back to dirt, a little bit of a class drop here. She's got a little speed. I think she can get forward in this race. She's around 8-1. I'll probably take my chances there.
The outside horse is the morning line favorite. That is the number 8, Moonlight Basin. This is a horse that right now, just as far as figures are concerned and recency, this is the horse to beat in this spot. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not going to fault anyone that looks at it and says, you have had plenty of opportunities and you are far from the most trustworthy favorite in
Yeah.
here. And you've got to figure, even at 5-2, I think she's going to come down from there. I think she's in that 8-5, 9-5.
Yeah, I sort of feel that way too. She's the favorite. She's got the speed. We saw the pace projector before. If she just clears off on this field early, maybe that will be all she wrote. But she's a little bit hard to really trust as a pretty short price in this race. Kreiser's done a great job with her. He's improved her. But I don't know, man. I don't need her at sub 2-1.
Let's take a look at who we actually ended up going with in this spot. Again, I don't trust her at all, but I think just the combination of the projection as far as the pace is concerned, as well as just some of the other horses in this race.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's many in here that I can make a case for. I think you're on the most interesting horse in the race, though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with her. And we'll see actually how they bet the race, too. I wouldn't be too surprised to see that 7 take a little money here because she makes a lot of sense on paper in this race, but we'll see what happens. I think she's the best alternative.
8-7 for me, 7-8 for Mike in the Thursday Formulator race of the day. If you're playing the 6th from Penn National at home, check out DRF Bets. We've got a new fall deal for you, up to a $300 sign-up bonus. The promo code is fall300. DRF.com/fall is the address. Race number 6, Penn National, Thursday night. The Formulator race of the day, scheduled post time 8:16 Eastern. Best of luck.